So I know I got some folks out there waiting on me. Yeah, I decided I was going to grow my beard back for a minute. For a minute, for a minute. For a minute, for a minute. What's happening? Trying to see what it looked like. I'm here. Let's go. I feel you. I'm about ready to do that. But I try to get hype. I try to do my little warm up and get hype. I mess around with a couple people, usually with people that are short and those people that have freckles. So I see that the freckle people are here. I'm waiting on the little short people, so they could climb up the ladder and get their little asses in their seats. We can go from there. Well, good evening there, YouTubers. What's happening with you? So tonight, folks, like I said, I've got some lightning and thunder rumbling outside my window, so I don't know how long I'm gonna stay in the pocket here for y'all. I'm gonna try to get this done, but I am ready to get struck for none of y'all. So if I duck out, if I say, y'all just gonna get a black screen, and won't be no technical difficulties, it's gonna be your man like out. I don't know what the hell Ben Franklin was thinking about when he went out in a thunderstorm and flying a kite. No wonder he was bald on the top. I bet before he started flying that kite in a storm, he had a head full of hair. But we learned one thing. Lightning, like electricity, takes the path of least resistance. So I'm not trying to be, there we go. That's that nerd moment. That's that physics stuff for y'all. So anyway, what's happening, people? I'm gonna try to get in and get out while the getting's good. We're getting a little bit of a lightning and thunderstorm out there. Just keep your shit up. I know where you live. Don't think I can't find you. I have a particular set of skills. So what's up, people? How y'all doing? I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Whether I have 200 or 2,000, I try to give you my best. And since I'm fighting against the weather, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I want to tell you guys, good evening and welcome to the show. As always, I want to thank you guys. I try to get more serious here so I could stay on script. Okay, so this is my Walter Cronkite. Good evening and welcome to the show. As always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. As I always say, seriously, I'm truly humbled that you guys choose to spend your Thursday nights with me. There's so many other things you could be doing. The fact that you tune in week in and week out means the world to me. My show is called Mythologic. I got something to say. It must be true. By now, you guys know my name is Hank Batiste. No, that's not the government name my mama gave me, but that's my name. Like I said, I've got some thunderstorms raging out there, so if it gets a little worse, I might have to duck out and cut this short, but I'll try to stay on task and give you what I got for this evening. I'm your host tonight, and the voices in my head are truly, truly, truly exhausted. You guys, this is the 93rd show that I've done. I've done 93 shows. Can you believe that? And that doesn't even count the little impromptu shows that I do when I decide to do a little extra or whatever. So I've done 92 scheduled shows to date. Unreal. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you. But I'm in some ways I'm exhausted because this process where we are in this thing in our republic that we call democracy has me, and I keep saying it has me at my wit's end. I use terms like pissed off to the utmost of pissosity, but it just doesn't make sense, folks. And it's the main reason why I cuss. It's the main reason why I get so emotionally involved in what I have to say and my presentation to you guys. And last week I gave some half-ass apology, but I don't feel like I have to because I know you guys tuning in week after week. You kind of understand, and you probably feel it as well. Excuse me. Ain't nothing but a little COVID. I shouldn't even make that joke. But usually when people get up on top of me and they invade my personal space, I'll do that. I'll cough on purpose and I said, excuse me. Ain't nothing but a little COVID. And they back the hell up. So you could try that if you like. But I shouldn't make jokes about that. We're going to talk about a few things tonight. I'm going to talk about COVID because it's becoming a back page story, even as the numbers grow. I'm going to talk about the so-called January the 6th. I don't know what they're calling it, investigation committee or whatever. But the thing I don't like is the media gives so much airtime to the lie. It helps these knuckleheads to shape or reshape the narrative or the story or the truth. And they tell that lie so many times that they actually start to believe it. And of course, the Kool-Aid drinkers believe it as well. So it is what it is, folks. I don't know what to say. I'm just kind of pissed about it. I really am. We're going to talk a little bit about COVID. We're going to talk a little bit about capitalism. We're going to talk a little bit about the conspiracy theories. We're going to talk a little bit about January the 6th and will it actually even make a difference in the big scheme of things. So tonight's show is actually called COVID, Capitalism, and Conspiracy Theories. Omit the logic. This shit makes no sense. I got something to say. It must be true. Let's get with it. When I talk about educating the masses, I really overdose on some of these ad nauseum stories, and then I have to take a minute. I have to catch my breath. I have to take a pause. But I promised myself that I would do that so that I could bring what I think is most important, most pertinent, give it to you straight, no chasing, make it as simple as I possibly can, devoid of some of the political jargon. Yeah, there I go with it. That's the way the brother talks. But anyway, so this week it was extremely hard. A, because I've got some of my own things going on, and B, because I don't know what to say about these so-called politicians. But I have come to understand that politician is a far cry from public servant. I'm trying to pull myself back in before I go off on a tangent. But politician it's a far cry from public servant. Public servants, I think, should be aware of what's going on and try to make things happen on a more seamless manner, and you'll kind of understand where I'm going with this when we start to talk about Congress and the presidency and some of that, if I get to it, weather permitting. Um, they seem to be doing more when it comes to, they look at what they do as a job more so as it is a responsibility. And that responsibility should be first and foremost. But it seems that all of them look at how can I get reelected, not so that I can do the people's business, but so that I don't have to do anything else. And it's such a well-paying job. Um, so to me, it's despicable. I try to save terms like despicable and delusional for Donnie Trump, but as I start to see some of those same arrogant behaviors in other politicians, and it's not just the Republicans, let's just be honest about it. Um, and we know it's not just the Republicans, because the one thing about the Republicans, they are focused on one goal: power. That's it. We would hope that the Democrats and the independents would unite to focus on a goal, that being doing what we need them to do. But it's a far cry from what they have been doing. Um, and then whenever these people appear, somebody's shoving the mic in their face. So they're feeding this beast that I call ego and arrogance. I get carried away, and I keep saying this because I don't want my grandkids to have to put up with things that my parents try to protect me from. So I'm going to just move on. I hear a little rumble says, reminded me to go ahead and say what you need to say. I'm going to talk a little bit about COVID. I'm going to try to make this quick. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. COVID has become, it's no longer front page news. No longer are we seeing the numbers on CNN, and they're talking about on MSNBC. They never really talked about it on Fox, but we're not seeing it even on the local channels. And it's crazy because I hold the media responsible. If you got a 24-hour news cycle, it should be more than just calling somebody on, like this little Asian woman that I kind of dislike. She comes on to CNN, has turned into every correspondent is promoting the book. And that's the impetus or the reason for them being on about a particular story. That would be fine if the story that they gave was comprehensive. It would make me want to read the book. But what's happening is it seems like more of promoting the book than it is about reporting the news. So I hold the media responsible. I really do. I hate 24-hour news channels, and that's why I don't do a show every night. There's enough that I could, but I think it would be overly redundant. As quiet as it's kept, folks, COVID, and they keep talking about this Delta variant. COVID is infecting people. It's still killing people. Whether we realize it or not, they are still being infected. Now, what we're starting to hear, we're starting to see in some cases, is those of us that have been vaccinated, we are asymptomatically infecting those that have not been vaccinated. And it brings to mind a story that I heard on the news. they're talking about this. The woman, she had been vaccinated. The husband, he didn't think it was necessary, so he wound up getting sick, and their children got sick, and she wound up being their caretaker as well. So then when they talked to him, he said he wished he had gotten vaccinated. Truth be told, COVID is still killing people. Let me say that one more time. COVID is still infecting and killing people. Now, what we're starting to see is some of those young people who thought they were immune, some of those young people who thought they were not at risk. I heard a doctor say he decided to pick up a microphone when in succession his three patients were like 32, 28, and 27 or 25, something like that. So then I talk to my people in New Orleans and I hear about the young people that's being affected. And then I talk to people from other parts of the country. And then I see on the news that people from Missouri and Ohio, these young people are being infected. So let me just say this, just in case they didn't hear me the first 12 times. COVID is not gone anywhere, folks. COVID is still infecting and killing people. And simply because you're young doesn't mean that you're immune. Simply because you're young doesn't mean that you can't get it. Simply because you've been vaccinated doesn't mean that you can't carry the disease to those in your household who believes they're young and strong and no. COVID is killing people. COVID is still infecting people. In the state of Florida, we are still having 6,500 cases now a day. And Ronald Trump DeSantis, our so-called governor, he's talking about his 2024, and I don't see how he's going to even try to run because he's so far up Trump's behind. I don't know. Then I turn on the news and I see what the NFL is talking about fining and doing forfeitures because there are NFL players, like other young people, who feel like they don't need to be vaccinated, who feel like they're immune, like they can't catch it. I think the first time, and I don't wish this on anybody, but the first healthy person that takes COVID home and they watch their adolescent child, they watch their young child, their toddler, suffer from this disease, this illness. I think, unfortunately, if it's not too late, it's going to change some minds. We've heard all the stories, and I'm right along with you. I'm right along with you as far as the Tuskegee experiments and blah, 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 blah. But now we have enough information with those people. Only 50% of us have been fully vaccinated. 92.7% of the new cases is those that have not been vaccinated. So you make up your mind for yourself. But just remember, if you want to save yourself and you don't want to get vaccinated, think about if you get it and they symptomatically give it to somebody that you care about. Moving on. When I talk about these things, I'm reminded that, and I've only had maybe one or two journalism classes in English in college, and I've had numerous public speaking classes. But the thing they always tell you is you're just the messenger. Don't become the story. And I remind myself of that. And when I give this to you week in, week out, I try to make it personal so that you can relate to it, which means I try to make it relatable. But the stories are not about me unless I say something like my kids, my grandkids, I'll talk about, something specific to me. When I see what's going on, let me just leave that alone. Let me just move on. The media has more of a responsibility, so they have to stick with this. They can't make it an afterthought. They can't make it 10 minutes of a hour long show where 7 minutes of commercials. It's just not gonna work. One of the reasons this is happening, I believe, is because capitalism. We're in such a hurry to get America back to work, to get the economy back on track. The When I talk about being pissed and amused, this week what has me more pissed and more amused is this. I call it hypocrisy. It's a dichotomy. On one hand, we say it's okay to open businesses, to open airlines, to open airports, 100% full capacity. But when you try to go somewhere, that's a government agency. When they start talking about all of these openings, why aren't they hiring in these government agencies? Why are the government agencies still on a 10 a day appointments only? If you feel it's okay to put the people in Chili's and Starbucks and all of these other places, if you think it's okay to put the flight attendants and the pilots and the TSA people, if you feel it's okay to put them at risk with these hordes of people coming through and them having to come in contact with, and we've already made it known that these people can take it home to other people and their family, then I should not have to wait to get a driver's license. I should not have to wait to get an appointment that's 5, 10, 12, 30 days down the road when it comes to a government service. If you think COVID is gone, give me full capacity on a local level. Give me full capacity on a state level. And certainly open up Congress. That's all I got to say about that. When I look at these conspiracy theories, folks, this is what has me more pissed than anything else. Nobody can lie to themselves that much that they actually believe COVID isn't real. They actually believe Biden didn't win. They actually believe when McCarthy and McConnell say all they want to be is Speaker of the House and head of the Senate, majority leader in the Senate, and they don't see anything wrong with these conspiracy theories that are based solely on putting them in power. So when I see Pelosi start to talk about this January the 6th investigative committee, I can't even get the word out because to me it's a joke. First of all, those people that are talking more are those Republicans who have a way of shouting down anybody else. So the loudest voice is heard, but the voice that's heard, that loud voice, is the one that's spreading the lies, spreading the conspiracy theories. So after all of this time, after they've had time to build up all of this momentum, now Pelosi wants to put a foot down and say that we're going to have this, they're calling it the commission. It's not going to work, folks. I just don't see anything coming out of it because the folks that are responsible are sitting right next to her in Congress, sitting right across the aisle from her in Congress. When McCarthy talks about putting together his own commission, so now we, the taxpayers, are paying for one commission. First of all, they didn't want a commission. They just said that these folks were exuberant patriots. They were just overzealous. That's all that was wrong. But as soon as we start talking about some type of fact-finding mission, here's the Trumpublicans with McCarthy, who's kissed Trump's ass so many times. The only portion on Trump's body that's not orange is his ass cheeks. And I promise you, it's the same color as McCarthy's lip gloss. Every week I come on here and I said, this is the week that I don't cuss. And then names like McCarthy comes out of my mouth. McConnell comes out of my mouth. Delusional Donnie comes to mind. And I can't help it. I don't cuss. Those are exclamation points. These people know. But the problem is, they don't play by the rules. And my problem is why I am so pissed. And I would think it fair to say, I hear you, Thunder. I think it would be fair to say that you're equally as pissed. It's because we have not just the Mansions, but now we have Biden, who has this bipartisan hair up his behind. You've got to come to the realization that they're not going to play by the rules. You've got to come to the realization that the only way you're going to be able to serve us, the American people, the majority that voted for you, is to do away with this damn filibuster and get some things done. As far as these conspiracy theories are concerned, it wouldn't be so bad if this just stayed amongst themselves. But the problem is these people are petri dishes. The problem is we've got somebody who's saying they want to give out ham steaks, turkeys, and a lottery ticket for doing something that's good for the country. I'm done with it, folks. I keep talking about wake up and put your arrogance to sleep. Last week I said it to Manless Chin. Last week I said it to Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. This week I'm going to say it to Biden, President Biden. Last night I started watching this town hall and I cut it off. In what twilight zone? I don't care if you spend 75 years in the Senate. The Senate today is not the Senate of 40 years ago. It's not the Senate of 8 years ago. It's not even the Senate of 4 years ago. So get over this bullshit of trying to do everything bipartisan. We need you right now. We need you to do what we need you to do. We need you to protect our voting rights. We need you to get some of this legislation passed. We need you to make sure that when Fauci goes up there and he's talking about why this Delta variant is important, and I'm not a virologist, but common sense tells me from what I know about viruses and tells you the same thing. Every year we have a different variation of the flu, which is a virus. So when we have these people who are walking around who are not vaccinated, they're no more than petri dishes for the mutation of this virus. So now we have to deal with that. It's about to get cold, people. And for whatever reason, viruses love the cold. Folks, I'm listening to thunder and lightning out there, so I'm trying to concentrate, but by the same token, I think I'm gonna say what I gotta say and I'm gonna get out of here. We gotta do something about COVID. We have to put it back on the front page. We have to do something about capitalism. If we can open up the airports, if we can open up industry, if we can open the economy, then open our government offices, because that's what we need most. And lastly, we got to do something about these conspiracy theories and these, I want to call them well-meaning, misleaded. So President Biden, if you're listening to me, I was one of the first people that said, run, Joe, run. I was one of the first people to say you had the tools necessary to get this job done. I need you to have that same zeal. I need you to have that same motivation. I need you to have that same tunnel vision that you had in your first 100 days. And if you can't get it done with them, go at it alone. Even if it's by way of executive order and it lasts as long as you're in the White House. That's all I got for you tonight, folks. I'm going to get out of here because thunder and lightning is persisting. So with that, folks, I'm going to tell you, as always, go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to have to do a subscription drive here. Go to my YouTube channel. Watch. I always, after I do my show, what I do is I go to my YouTube taping of the show and I edit it. And I take out some of my clowning around and I try to get to the meat and potatoes. And I try to trim the show to about 30 minutes. So those people that don't get a chance to watch the show, you guys can share that 30 minutes with them. You guys, I know we come here, we have this back and forth. You guys are sending little stuff to me and I'm reacting to it, even if I don't always react to it. But those people that don't know me, those people that just want the facts, the Walter Cronkite facts, I trim the show and I usually post it. I try to trim it to about 30 minutes. So do me a favor, when I post that show on my page, watch the show, share that show with some people, because that's the meat and potatoes. If they don't get nothing else, that's what they need to hear. I'll see you here, same time next week, same bad time, same bad place. As always, important, I'm going to wish you love. I'm going to wish you peace. Don't get struck by lightning. I got hair grease. I'm out of here, folks. Y'all be good. Good night.